everybody. My name is John Dean with the Dean Network. I'm here today with Coach Ken Cofer, head coach of the Dodge County Football Indians. We're very grateful to have him to sit down with us and just talk with us a little bit about the football team and some things that are going on with the current age. Thank you, Coach Cofer, for sitting down with us. How you doing today?
Doing good.
Good. Now, I was looking at your bio. I noticed you were from Paulding County. I'm from Rome, Georgia.
Okay.
So it's not too far.
Those Georgia boys.
Right. Not too far from each other. So tell us a little bit about Paulding County growing up.
I'll tell you what, my dad was a former head football coach. My mom was a teacher. Both retired. My dad passed away in 1996, but he was a former head football coach. So we bounced around a little bit while he was doing his coaching gigs, and he'd been the head coach at Paulding County. Left after some years, and then my mother liked it so much. When we got back to that area, I stayed there from the 3rd grade on and kind of grew up there. So that's home, Dallas, Georgia, Paulding County High School. So the Paulding County High School. There was only one back then, but there's like 5 or 6.
Right, East Paulding.
Oh, east, south, north, Hiram, and Paulding County, I believe it's 5.
Okay.
But they'll probably end up building another one here pretty soon.
Wow, so pretty. That's Dallas, Georgia.
Dallas, Georgia. It is.
Okay, great. Now you played football in high school.
I did.
What position did you play?
I was a defensive back and wide receiver back in the day. Wide receiver for wing T offense. You know, in the wing T, they don't throw the ball too much. I tell the kids, they gave me the psycho routes, the ones that was inside. And you got murdered on. They put me in for that.
Going across the middle.
Oh yeah. So I got hit quite a few times. I won't lie.
Good.
But it was a fun time, good experience, and I actually got to play for a guy named Ken Phillips. I was named after him. He actually played high school football for my dad, so I was named after him. And then Ken Phillips was my head football coach in high school. So it was a good time.
Wow. Okay. So when did you realize that you wanted to go into coaching?
Watching my dad since I was little. Any coach's son is the water boy or the towel guy, ball guy, whatever he is, and just looked like he had such a good time doing it. And the relationship with the kids was what it kind of reeled me in from that. It made it fun. Taking kids home after practice or after ball games, and just that relationship he had with those and the coaches. I mean, it just it didn't seem like work to me. It seemed like a good time and just building relationships with people. So that's what drew me in.
Wow.
Probably about 4 or 5 years old. I remember being tiny and knowing this is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Wow. Now I was looking at on the internet and I saw that Paulding County had several coaches. The head coaches that are out. Do you still communicate with those guys?
Some I do. There were 6 or 7 of us from Paulding County High School, not the other schools in Paulding County, but just for Paulding County High School. J.B. Arnold in Jefferson County is one. Adam Carter at Grayson is another. Right offhand, there's a few of us out there that all went to the same high school at different times. It was Scotty Hendricks. He is the principal of Cedartown now, but he was the head coach at Cedartown.
Cedartown Bulldogs.
Cedartown Bulldogs up there in your area too. And I think he's still the principal there, but he was the head coach. But they were 2 years ahead of me, and then I was the next one.
Okay.
And then there's some that's followed past us, but it's quite intriguing. All of us came from the same high school.
Great. So how many years have you been coaching?
This upcoming will be my 25th year.
25th year.
It's flown by. Yes, I remember being the young guy on the staff. Now I'm the oldest guy on the staff. And times changed over that when I started too. Just looking through some old pictures the other day, and just the age just kind of crawled up on me on the face, and losing hair and all that kind of stuff. And but yes, this will be my 25th year, so it's been a while.
25th year. 25th. Now, looking, I saw that you coached at Cook County, correct?
I was the head coach at Cook from 2010 to 2014. Yeah.
And then you were at Wilcox County.
Yeah. I was the head coach at Bacon after Cook High School.
Okay.
Then I came here to Dodge for a year and a half. Got the head job at Wilcox County, and then got the job over here after Coach Hodges retired.
Okay, so when you were a coach here, what position did you?
I was the inside linebackers coach.
Linebacker.
Yeah, Dodge had everybody it was kind of late. It was probably, I met with Coach Hodges probably at the end of April, maybe mid-April, something like that. So it was pretty late, and they pretty much had their staff anyway. But inside linebackers coach, we got to coach some good guys here at Dodge.
And that was what year?
That would have been fall of 2016 and
Okay.
17.
Okay.
And then in January of 2018, I took the head job at Wilcox County High School.
Okay, awesome. I know that when word got around that you were coming,
Yeah.
a lot of the kids were excited to have you.
Yeah, you know, and I built some good relationships here, got close with a lot of kids. I've been fortunate enough where I've done that everywhere I've been, and been able to do that. And it makes my job a lot better when you build relationships. I think some coaches forget that, and it becomes about them, and it's not about you, it's about the kids and what kind of relationships you build with them. But it made it hard on them this past year. Kind of wanted to weed out the ones that you wanted to really be here, you know, and the ones that didn't. And so it's a lot better as far as coming back. We missed spring practice, but starting the summer, I haven't had to say a word. These kids have taken control, have made everybody accountable. So it's more fun the second year. You have to kind of be tough on them the first year.
Right.
And sometimes they don't like you very much.
Right.
And you know, and I know they didn't. I made it that way on purpose. But we're getting to sit back a little bit right now and watch the kids take over. And when you have a player-led team, you can have a great team. When you have to do it yourself, you can be pretty mediocre. And we had to deal with that at the beginning and the middle of last year. At the end, you know, we lost 2 ball games at the end, right there against Blakely and in the playoffs against Thomasville. But I thought our team came together. And I can say that, and you probably going to ask me this a little later, but halftime, we're down 27-7 at Blakely, and every one of our kids came in there at halftime and said, "We're fixing to win this game." They believed it wasn't a show, and almost pulled it off, but they came back. That's when you start building your team right there in your nucleus of people. Same thing happened in Thomasville. Never doubted. And Thomasville almost went to the state championship game, went to the semifinals. And we had a shot at beating those suckers too.
If I'm not mistaken, it was 17-7 at the half.
I think it was 17. It was 14-7 or 17-7 at the half, and we ended up taking a 20-17 lead. And that's when it was fun, especially the last 2 games of the season, watching these kids just fight.
Right.
And even if they got down, they didn't let anything beat them.
Right.
And, you know, we had an incident yesterday. I say an incident. Somebody didn't go full speed yesterday. And I had one of our leaders, Noah, come and said, "Hey man, that's not the way we do things around here." And I didn't have to say anything, or one of the other coaches didn't have to say anything. That's the way that you want it, you know, it's being a player-led team. So, you know, that's the way that it has to be to make a run in the playoffs.
Definitely. Strong leadership makes a big difference.
Amen.
And you know, a lot of times as coaches, educators, and adults, you know, our voice is muted to the kids, you know, so a lot of times when you got your own telling you and getting you to step it up, you tell the difference.
That's
Now,
great.
back to that Thomasville, back in the playoffs, we had a chance, the last drive of the game, we had a chance to pull it off.
We did. We had some, we gave up some big plays. We had some had our chances to take some leads and stuff like that. We were without a couple of players at that time. And then, you know, I mentioned Noah. Noah was actually playing on 1.5 legs. You know, and I don't think people understand when I say that. I had to tell a couple of college recruiters that as well. This kid played the whole year with a torn ACL and MCL. And, you know, so he had a brace on the whole year, ends up scoring a touchdown off of a fumble made by A.J. Melvin, but did some good things playing on that. But we had our chances to do that, and it just, you know, one thing about playing in Thomasville was I love playing at other people's places and going after that behind at other people's places and doing that. That's what would have made it more special. But I'm just, you know, it was a letdown then, but I was proud of our kids the way they reacted. Not a whole lot of people will get this, but that right there, that in the Blakely game will fuel us coming into this season. It's going to be special. These kids, Again, they're holding each other accountable so far, and they're leading. And when they lead, big things are going to happen. And again, I told them yesterday before we did some drills yesterday. We want to make this year special, but we want to get better game by game and do some special things. But our goal is not necessarily to go undefeated. That's not what we have in mind. You can go undefeated and get beat in the first round. We want to make a run in the playoffs. That's the whole thing. We want one of those big old gaudy rings on our hands. It's about championships. And we train them in this weight room to be champions and push them to be champions. And this group wants to do it now. It's led by about 19 or 20 seniors I think we have on this team. And they're doing it in the weight room so far. And it's going to carry over into football season.
And this class of seniors is the class that a lot of people over the years have been saying we're going to keep an eye out.
Yeah, yeah, and I remember, when I was here as an assistant, watching that group, we got over there to see them play in the championship game against Dublin, and they tore Dublin up pretty bad, scored at will, and not to burst the bubble a little bit. Middle school and high school is two totally different things. You carry that over with your belief, and to do that. But we got some kids that are like fullback type, running back types now that played on the offensive line when they were in the middle school. So things have kind of changed a little bit now. Those skilled kids, we got some good guys, and Dalen Gordon, you give the ball to him or Michael Carr at any time, they can score. Michael Carr, I'll brag on him for a minute. He told me last year, Coach, just give me the ball, I'll score it every time. And that's probably one of the only times is I didn't doubt a kid, ever. And I'll be honest with people, and I was honest with these kids. Dalen Gordon's going to touch the ball at least 20 times in the game. Michael Carr's going to touch the ball at least 20 times in the game. They're going to have their shots. Michael didn't have as many times. We had things called to him, but everybody flew to him.
Right.
He was a big distraction, and everybody flew. We've got some different things that we're going to put the ball in his hands and let him roll. And we're going to get the ball to him too. And we got some other weapons, Tyrese Johnson, Keldrick Beck. We've got some other guys that can do some damage. And so we're going to let them have it, put it in their hands, and let them roll.
And you definitely got some talent on the outside,
yes,
talented receivers. And,
we do.
You're just all around loaded.
Yes.
And we get the ball to them, we can make it happen.
Yeah, I think everybody thinks when you have some speed, and that's what you want, especially as a head coach, you want some speed. But where we needed the leadership and the guidance is on the offensive line and the defensive line. We lost a college guy, Jamal Mahan, that's going to play at Reinhardt. We've got some guys that we think that we can fill in on the defensive line. And the offensive line, we lost one. My bad, I'm sorry. We lost two offensive linemen, but we got a lot of kids back with playing experience that played. One of those guys that we lost last year was a first-year starter. One was a 2 or 3 year starter, Kobe Lee. But we've got some guys back that we think can do some damage, and they know the offense. It's a little bit different when you're throwing it around compared to what they had done in the past. We want to still be able to run the football and be physical. We want to be fast and physical on everything. So, I think people think I may be putting on a show when I say this, but you better get your popcorn and your Coke while we're on defense, because on offense you're gonna miss the show. It's gonna be fast, and we're gonna come after people. We're gonna be physical. It'll be a little bit different than last year. We're gonna pick up the tempo a lot. We're gonna come after people's behind on defense, and we're gonna do some different things, special teams wise, to put pressure on folks. So it should be a fun show to watch, and these kids are buying into it. So that's the fun thing.
That's the main thing.
That's the main thing.
That's the main thing. So we have some unusual circumstances going on now with COVID-19.
Right.
As you guys can see, we're practicing our social distancing to stay safe.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit of some of the things that you put in place to work around the situation.
Right. Well, the CDC and not just the school systems, but you're supposed to practice this 6 foot or the 6 feet distance, and not being around, within that distance for more than 15 minutes. because of this virus that's going on. Before we came back 3 weeks ago, we had to clean everything. So we're spraying down the dumbbells. The kids will put their hands on the dumbbells. They'll sweat. They won't necessarily touch these jump boxes that are behind us, but they'll sweat on them. Well, you have to wipe that down too. So we've had 4 groups, and every school is different. If you have a single A school, like where I came from, Wilcox County, I think they have 2 groups. They might have had 3, I don't know, but we had to have 4 groups. So 2 groups were down here at the high school. 2 groups were up there at the middle school. Met for an hour and a half, went out on the field, conditioned, lifted weights. There was a 15 to 30 minute buffer in there to clean everything. But we'd already cleaned everything anyway before we left the weight room. So we had that done too, but still had that time space between there. So we had all of our skilled guys, all of our receivers, quarterbacks, defensive backs up there at the middle school from 7:30 to 9 o'clock. All right, 9:30 came the next group, the younger kids, the skilled guys up there. The linemen and defensive linemen were down here. I think the running backs were down here with them, same time periods and stuff like that. But you're having to practice the social distancing, even when you condition and stuff like that. We wipe down our benches, the bars, these dumbbells and the handles, not just the handles, but these part right here. And the dumbbells, have to do the doorknobs, the markers.
I'm gonna be surprised with everything.
Yes, anything that you have to do that. And then we have to take their temperatures. So we have those infrared, have 4 of those, put it up to the forehead, take their temperature, ask them if they've been around anybody that's had the virus or the COVID-19 yet, and anything like that. And there's a list of questions, 4 or 5 questions that we have to ask before they come inside. So it's been, I thought it would be more hectic. I thought it would be more troublesome to do all that. It would take a lot of time. It hasn't. It's worth it. And the kids have been, they know what they have to do.
Right.
So it hadn't been that bothersome with that. We just have to take precautions and stuff like that. We've got Dead Week coming up next week. That's Georgia High School Dead Week, where nobody in the state of Georgia, no matter the sport, can practice or lift, within the school facilities. I can't bring one up here and lift.
At the same time every year?
The same time every year.
Okay.
It's the first week, it's the July 4th week. So, Georgia High School's all done that. I think they're meeting today, Georgia High School, matter of fact, talking about a second dead week, which would be maybe the first week of June. So that would only give you 3 weeks in June, 3 weeks in July. And I've been a stickler. I'll go ahead and tell you, I've been one of those guys that wants to win in the summer, and probably got after the kids too much in the summer, and we laid off of it a little bit. It's just been kind of slower paced and getting things done, and the kids responded better.
Right.
So I think I learned my lesson too about pushing too hard at the beginning and trying to win the summer instead of just kind of getting into it, being a little bit more patient. So it doesn't matter how many years you've been coaching or how many years you've been around it, you still learn.
Right.
And you have to learn the kids that are this, community that you're in. And I think we found it.
Right. So you can see that where the school is taking precautions to make sure that the kids are staying safe and still able to get the work out that they need to be competitive for the season.
Yeah, and I think, it was killing our kids. And I realized that some of our community members, we have players with parents or siblings that have some kind of health concern, and if they're around it too much, it could bring it back home. I mean, that's we run that risk doing anything that we do, going anywhere today, and that's I don't even want to say that's the new normal, because that's a bad thing. But we just have to take precautions in everything, and I'm hoping that everybody can stay safe and doing that. But it's been good here. It's been fine, and kids have been working their tails off to try to get better and helping each other out.
Awesome.
Yes.
So tell us a little something about you that most of us just know you as Coach Cofer, and we see you around with Wade. But just tell us something about you that we may not have known.
Wow. Yeah, I'll tell you this. This is something that sticks out. Now, I'll tell you about my family first. I'm married. My wife, Stacy, and I have 2 children. Actually, I have 3 children. I have a stepdaughter too. My oldest is Carly. She's 19, goes to ABAC down there. My other one, the middle child, is Kaylee. She goes to Wilcox. She never left Wilcox. Boyfriend was over there. She wants to stay with boyfriend. He's actually going to play football at Valdosta State. So she's at Wilcox. She's going to be a senior this coming year. And then Brindley is going to be in the 9th grade. All right. And all girls. God's got a good sense of humor giving you all girls when you thought you were going to be a boy's daddy back in the day. So yeah, he got me on that one. But yeah, I had I don't know if this is unique, but and we didn't take as many chances as I wanted to this past year. Usually anywhere I've been, we've kind of done that. I want our kids taking chances, and good chances is what I'm talking about in life. I don't want them to sit back and not ever trying to get what they shoot for. God ain't ever made a mistake.
Right.
He ain't ever made trash before. So all these kids have a chance, and I want to coach them to take chances. So what you're going to see this coming football season is you're going to see us, when I say aggressive, we're talking about taking chances on special teams, on kickoff returns. We're going to be very aggressive. We go for it on 4th down a lot of times. When you don't make it, you get booed. I've been booed before, but you're the man when you make it on 4th down too. Oh man, you're the man. Oh, hey, he's great. And I realize that, but we're going to go after people. We want to take chances, and I want our kids having that mindset of taking that good chance and being aggressive toward things that they want in life. Nobody's going to hand you anything. Nobody ever handed me anything. They're not going to hand them anything. So, definitely want our kids having that aggressive mindset in a good way to go get things that they want. And that's what we're going to do this football season. We're going to have a good time with it. It's already been a good time. I've had a better time. It was stressful last year because when we came in, as soon as I got hired, we had spring football 2 weeks later. And then you're an athletic director, never been an athletic director before, and everybody's throwing their problems on top of you too during football season. So I'm thinking I've got all that ironed out and gotten used to it, and it's been a lot more fun, especially these kids in the weight room. And we've missed them. We get to spend more time with people's kids than the parents do during football season. Right. We see them at school, and we see them at practice after, and so we get real close to them too. Now we get on each other's nerves every once in a while too, but we have a good group. We have a good nucleus of seniors right here too. So I don't know if that's unique. We're going to be risk takers and stuff like that, but
to piggyback on that, a lot of parents, a lot of younger parents are discouraging their kids from playing football these days. But a lot of lessons that they can learn, with the taking chances, that applies to life, lifelong lessons that these kids can take with them to help them be successful.
It has. Society has changed, and Lord knows I don't want to make anybody mad by saying soft. But I got to speak my mind on certain things. And I know football's not for everybody. Right. It's not. But what football does teach you is everybody gets knocked down. I can tell you, I can remember sometimes when I got knocked down, and there's some that I don't care to remember too much about the times I've been hit and knocked down. But you got to get up. And I have more respect for kids, and we got one that's a senior right now, and I'm going to mention his name, Joseph White. We call it B-Rabbit. Joseph White got knocked where he basically landed on his head by R.J. Carter a couple of years ago. This is when Joseph was a freshman. And everybody kind of hooped and hollered because it was a good hit, but it was a blindside hit. And Joseph got up just like that. And it made me respect that kid so much because he didn't even delay. He got up. And what happens is you're going to get hit in life a lot. And you're going to get knocked down, and it's going to seem like everything's against you. Everybody's hooping and hollering against you. How are you going to react to that situation? Again, God didn't make trash. He made you get up again. And football's just one of those lessons. When you're going to get hit, how are you going to respond to adversity? And I want our kids that play here to be able, as long as they got God with them, to be able to handle anything that comes to them in life. And there's going to be some bad times. There's going to be, how are you going to react to it? And football is the major. And I'm talking about all athletics making you tougher and responding to adversity. But football is just that king that you're going to get hit and you're going to deliver the blows. And you're going to be the king sometimes. And, feel like you're on the top of the world.
Right.
And then sometimes it's going to feel like you're at the bottom.
Yeah.
And you got to crawl your tail right back out of there and respond.
Yeah.
So, I definitely think that football's the leader on teaching life lessons. I sure do.
And a final question, just want to look a little bit into next year. We know we're in a different region. There's some schools that we may not be too familiar with.
Right.
Could you tell us a little bit about some of those schools that are new to the region?
Okay. Lamar County and Monticello. You'll also hear Jasper County. Monticello and Jasper County are the same school. I think it says Jasper County on the actual high school building, but they go by Monticello.
Okay.
I don't know a lot about them except Lamar County. Lamar County's had some success in the past. They've been kind of mediocre. Well, we were kind of mediocre last year. But it's I think we're going up to play Lamar County on their turf field. They got a brand new school. They got a practice field that's turf. They got a brand new game field that's turf. They've got it going on right now as far as money wise.
Is this in the Atlanta area?
It's been Barnesville. It's right up Barnesville, Georgia. It's right up 75, taking that exit off. So it shouldn't be too bad of a trip. Monticello is coming to us. That'll be our homecoming game. They've been kind of mediocre too, record-wise. I don't know. I probably know less about them than I do of anybody. When people look through the schedule, I've had college recruiters coming through here and they're talking about, Coach, I see your schedule. Man, that's a whopper. Well, here's one thing that I want a lot of people to understand is, we're playing Toombs County, who was the second round playoff team. You're playing Dublin, who just won the state championship. You're playing West Lawrence, that just went to the quarterfinals last year in 4A. And you're playing Fitzgerald, who went to the semifinals 2 years ago, went to the second round, who we got beat by on a last-second field goal last year. And people say, "Why are you scheduling these people?" This is why I've been fortunate enough to do this my whole head coaching career. Is we try to schedule people like that because we want to play tough people. We can go undefeated, or we can go 8-2, or whatever, and you can be. You may get beat in the first or second round. We want to test our kids to play tough people who you're going to play in the playoffs. Nobody can say that we won't be battle tested from who we play. Then you get into the region with Washington County, Blakely's better. Northeast Macon was one of our toughest wins last year, and they beat Washington County. And Southwest Macon comes at the last ball game of the year and beats Blakely. So you got your work cut out for you right there. But I think that our kids will be battle tested. We want to play good people. I don't want to play somebody that, we think we can beat 50-0.
Right.
And you don't get better doing that from people. It looks good on the coaching record, or it looks good on your other record. But if you don't play tough people, you won't be ready for come playoff time.
That's right.
And we want to play tough people. And we're going to have to battle through some injuries. Everybody does. There's not a team that doesn't have to do that. But we'll be beat up and bruised and all like that. But that's why we're training all of our young guys right now. And our freshmen are out there getting just as many reps as our older guys right now. So we're going to try to play as many kids as we can, get them ready for Friday night football, and get this thing on the road and make a long run in the playoffs. That's what we want to do.
I tell you, looking at last year, we started off with Brazil, beat them, and then a couple of games that we lost were very winnable games. That meant a lot for the confidence of the players. West Lawrence, we couldn't beat West Lawrence. The depth, I believe the depth that they have got the best of us. As far as the Fitzgerald game, we was in that game. It was like a 52-yard field goal or something like that.
And he had to win.
So, and then once again with the Thomasville situation. So they're very, we have a very competitive team.
And I don't mean to interrupt you. What happened was, you lose a player like R.J. Carr at quarterback. RJ could make a bad play look very good, and he could be gone in no time. We lost every offensive lineman but one. So we had to rebuild the offensive line. We lost every defensive lineman but one. So you're having to replace your core trench guys was what was most important. And then you lose an all-state running back in Keel Pitts was 1-2. And you had that combo back there with he and RJ. So you're having to play younger guys, and we had a sophomore and a freshman quarterback playing Cade Hart and Hunter Kirk back there playing this year. Dalen was his first year starting back there. He had experience, and I had no doubt that Dalen was going to do some special things back there. And then we had to get our offensive line. Well, now we got our offensive line back pretty much, and we got some guys that we think can play defensive line in what we're doing. And we think we got that good nucleus. And piggybacking off of what you said about the West Lawrence game, and I think a lot of people have this misconception, but I want to make this clear too. The West Lawrence game, Dalen runs back the kickoff, and it's 21-14. This is at the beginning of the fourth quarter. We had a penalty. I think misconception was that I got myself tossed out of that game. And things kind of fell apart after that. Well, we had a kid, we had West Lawrence, and one of our kids got a sack. One of our players runs out to the edge of the field and pumps his fist, and the referee bumps into him. So that was a penalty. All right, well, that's a sideline penalty. Dalen runs back the kickoff in the fourth quarter, and one of our coaches is running down the sideline, and he bumps into the official.
It was on that far right side.
Yes, it was going towards Tomahawk territory where the kids are down there. And he throws the flag. Well, we scored right there to take a 21-14 lead. They come over there, probably one of the best official crews that I've had in my career. And the young guy comes over, they said, "Coach, I hate to tell you, but you're ejected." And I didn't say a word. I didn't get anything, but because we bumped into the officials, it's the same official both times. I'm ejected. That's the Georgia High School rule. So I walk out the gate, and I'm watching from the other gate over there, and we pick off a pass. We go up 28-14, and after that, it just went south. So we had a 2-touchdown lead, and I couldn't control my team from outside the gate and get things straight. So I think that had a lot to do with it. Well, I missed the next game because of the ejection. So our team has to go to Apple County, and we just get pummeled.
Right.
And then when we come back, I think once you have your family together, you're stronger. And once I got back, I thought we were stronger. We had our confidence back. We did some good things. We were down 17-7 at Fitzgerald, against Fitzgerald. And our kids came in there talking it up. And it just made me proud. And I said, we will win this ball game. I told them that at halftime, we will win this ball game. And we had our chances to do that too. And they sucker kicks a 52-yard field goal. It went with no time on the clock, to win it there. But I'm still proud of them, the way they fought back and stuff like that. So we had to replace a lot of pieces to the puzzle. Now we got a lot coming back right here. So we don't have any excuses. We're going to try to, do some damage, and we're going to try to put on a show for everybody that comes and sees them. And the kids deserve it. So our kids believe in what we're doing, and I definitely think that they want to put a show on for everybody and make up for last year. And because that's not 4-7 is terrible. I've never been 4-7, and it's going to make up for it this year.
Right.
These kids are going to do it. And, it's going to be all them.
Right.
So I'm just tagging along for the ride. Us and the coaches, myself and the coaches, we just tagging along for the ride.
That's it. I think last year, looking at the record-wise 4-7, might not look as good, but I think as far as from the inside looking in, we had a good year. Some of the teams, like I said, we could have beat. And so to be competitive in those games, means a lot versus getting blown out, 50-0.
Amen.
So yeah, but hey, we definitely appreciate you sitting down and talking to us with the Dean Network. Hope you guys enjoyed Coach Cofer, and we just appreciate your time, sir.
Appreciate it.
And good luck to you for next season.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right.